Good morning to one and all. This is AKA Jedi One Randy here, and wanted to give this little morning update in preparation and leading into our tomorrow night regular scheduled call that you can find here on the RadioDaisyChain.com website. You can click on calls and news, and you'll see that the call time is tomorrow, Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So, and we also have the shop over here. We've added some more items, as you can see, and which is the car charger, which will also double when we do find and source, keyword find and source, the proper solar charger. This particular adapter here that goes into the car will also fit into the solar charger when we do find the proper one for this. So that will be a crossover, very much needed item. This is the programming cable that I've added that you may have heard on some of the calls that this makes programming your handheld ham radio, the VR5, VR5, Baofeng radio. This makes it easier to program. So these are two suggested items that we are going to be offering. Now I'm going to make an order for both these so that they'll be inbound as well. And we're very well stocked with the radios now. I have been asked by some of you folks about, which is a wonderful thing, purchasing additional handhelds for friends and family. I know that Corpus Christi mentioned that, as well as a few others. Recapping those people who have come in, the pioneers in the very beginning, we started out with a full package. The price point was such that a lot of people couldn't afford it. So we have been what I call bobbing and weaving, finding our own water level. What's the best price point, how to package it so that everybody could afford to get in, because this is about, our mission is about getting communication in the hands of everyone that we possibly can in the shortest period of time, and helping them become educated on how to get licensed to operate said radio in the event that they need to, no matter if it is a situation that comes up in the normal life's journey, vacationing, and someone get hurt and out of cell phone range, that type thing, all the way to martial law. So that's our primary purpose. Everyone knows that I'm deeply involved in following of this stuff here, and that is voraciously I resource and search and study these things happening in our crazy world today. And if you didn't have a chance to go over this movie, this was one of the things that the movie here that really Mike Maloney has, the little video over there, the biggest scam in the history of mankind. Very powerful. It tells you all about the fiat money system and how we've been scammed since Nathan left Napoleon over at the battle in Waterloo a long time ago. But that's what we're living, the ripples and the tidal waves from that event way back when. So this is my passion, and this is what I bring. And I'd love to discuss these things, as y'all very well know. And with that said, that's going to bleed over into our overall game plan. Again, here is something that I want to show y'all. There's a big difference between this and this. This and this. This is very dynamic. This is Quadex Media out of Hialeah, Florida, that is in the running for building us our funnel systems. And so they have all sorts of things that they're going to be making a presentation to me on. And this bleeds over into, here is another source that we're looking at, Bumped Heads production out of Naples, Florida. Another group that's looking to build our digital marketing and e-marketing, just as is Carlos here with Quadex Media. This is a higher level of play than most people are familiar with. This is the big boys and girls league, to where you step up and you get huge volumes of conversions, meaning purchases, as well as harvesting of emails. This is where the Eagles come in. That is that upper level of management that we have discussed, that there have been 6 or 7 of our current small group of retail people have stepped up, and they are going to be sharing in a portion of this kind of creation of an advertising campaign, be it through Bumped Heads or Quad-X Media. I'm leaning very, very heavily toward Quad-X Media because Carlos knows what time it is, very, very much. And he can, I believe, be a great asset to us. Again, the things that I follow, and y'all know, as I mentioned, are things of this sort. This is total craziness going on here. This gentleman here was greased, no question. And last night on Jimmy Church, which is Fade to Black, they went into the death list of unbelievably paralleling events that caused people who were going to be testifying or had great information about the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, or directly linked to Hillary Clinton. And whether you're a Trump or Clinton deal, it doesn't really matter. We're all in the basketball. We're just going over the river. The puppeteers are the ones that's guiding this basketball toward a waterfall. We're in here doing this little election thing, keeping us occupied. But nothing's going to change until we readjust the value of this fiat currency. The rest of it is just something to do. This is Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, and it's jimmychurchradio.com. Wonderful source for information. Jimmy's wild. This is Clyde Lewis, Ground Zero. That is groundzeromedia.org. groundzeromedia.org. And you can click on here for SoundCloud, and it will take you over to all of Clyde's past recordings. This one right here, blow your mind. Absolutely blow your mind. And so I suggest that you take a look at this. This is over on SoundCloud, and I'm trying to get back to Clyde's main page so you can see that. That's a wonderful thing. And so I will be discussing these things. I'm going to tell you what, when I was over on Jimmy's show last night, what Jimmy does is he has things in his shop that helps fund his mission, and that's his livelihood. During his whole show, he'll occasionally, ever so often, say, and oh, by the way, that would be a very good reason for you to need to get whatever. Or, by the way, that brings up that I have my first ball caps for Fade to Black ball caps. Get to the shop and get you one. It helps it. And so the whole show, his whole show, is a very subtle info commercial. That's interesting to me, because right now I can tell you straight up on this little broadcast, you need to get a radio, period, if you don't have one. And so that would be a very good format that we would have on these calls that we have to meet people, because I'm going to drift. You know that I'm going to drift from just talking about radios. And so when we're having our calls, if the format going in was just another day and time with Ramblin' Randy on the Radio Daisy Chain, and we could even call it the Radio Daisy Chain, the Get a Radio Show, because seriously, that's what it's all about. The radio is our segue into everything, because it is what they need the absolute most in the event something was to happen. The rest we can build on, but we get them a radio first, and I'm looking at molding this into what's called a buddy plan, so that there can be 2 radios that go out in a package. That gives a little bit more cushion for what I'll call us, the house, if you will, for our needs to expand. Just 1 is a very small margin. 2 serves 2 purposes. It increases that margin so that our leaders and those that are actually doing this for a revenue stream will have a sliver more that they can divide up. It's not going to the house, so to speak. The house will carry a what I call a pack which on all items will be a pack that covers the house, very small. And it's going to work off having high volume. And the only way you can have high volume is things like this that are created to get to high numbers. Whoever creates that we settle on. These folks are doing this very successfully this way. So that's the direction that we're going to be going in. So our leaders will be handling all of the volume that comes through the efforts that these create, or the conversions that these create, sales, will go through have to go through our organization, and it will trickle down just like in Exxon, or just like in Brookshire's grocery store, or Kroger. You know, they all have upper level, and everything feeds down. And at the very bottom is the person that just walked in, their hourly wage or what have you in that scenario. That's the way it's done out there now. That's the way that we'll be doing it. But we have been in a period of adjustment or settling in. And everyone that came in, by the way, up to this very point, we have all of the radios out to all of the original people that came in at the 150 package. That was with the straw, the charger, and the radio, and the training. So all of that's behind us now. There may be just a couple stragglers that I haven't been able to meet to verify their address to ship to, but other than that, we're good to go. So now we're building from a clean, fresh foundation. And with the things that I just mentioned, molding it into, I'm going to be trying to reach all of the Eagles. If you are an Eagle, you can save me some time. And the Eagles, what they've done is they are covering, we're dividing up the cost of these pages, like the cost of building some of these pages like this. And they will be the ones that's going to be helping to cover the cost of that. It's about $300. Well, it is $300 to become an Eagle. Since then, I have been approached by members themselves that realize that training everyone all at once on the how to build a sales funnel, which is just an autoresponder that continuously sends out emails, letting people stay being in the forefront of their mind, if you will, keeping us exposed to letting them know of what we're doing, and then easing them into a conversion, which would be a sale, and then joining our group. All of that has to go through those Eagles. And every bit of that we create has to go through the Eagles. There has been some of our pioneers that I just mentioned that have approached me that there really needs to be a council, if you will, that will be over and suggesting things that will affect the Eagles, and we're going to be doing that. An upper tier field council, and so that is something that will be done on a one-on-one, discussing it with an individual to be a part of that, and Frank Phelps is the one that suggested this originally, and I want to talk to Matt. I want to talk to you, Matt Flynn, and Corpus, and several others that have slipped my mind right now. Florida would be nice, the new friends in Florida. But we will talk about these things, and that is going to be what I'll call the 84th floor people in one of these high-rise buildings. You know, that's where the buck stops, right there. Is it going to be in that council? Everything is going to lead toward going global, East meets West. All of these things here that we study, we talk about, we are going to be ending up at going global as where we push most of our information for you folks to see. To my knowledge, there isn't anyone out there. They all specialize and do a great job. Phoenix, right off the top, doing a great job of delivering information that they have sourced. He and his wife, mostly his wife, sourcing this information that you see here on Going Global East Meets West. The difference between what we are going to be doing and what Phoenix, Clyde, and Jimmy, and George Norley, all of those people out there, is that we will be a clearinghouse, if you will, or a town hall meeting that will discuss the wide variety of not just those that I mentioned, but those that some of our members may be following that I'm totally unaware of. I can show you another one very, very quickly that I have found to be quite compelling, and that is over here on this station right here. Very great show with a guy named Alan something, and it's on 660 AM. It's live, conservativeradio.com talk show, and it's 660 AM, KSKY. Unbelievable. A new and upcoming Jimmy Church, Clyde Lewis, Phoenix Rising, or George Norley. This is a unbelievable show. Real good show I listened to last night. So there's a lot of, we are sitting on an opportunity that the timing is so perfect and the need is there. If we keep our focus on getting on our mission, the passion of our purpose over the product that we could gain, it's all going to fall in place. We all know we need to make money. That's no question about that. And that's why we have an affiliate program. For those that do want to use this as a mainstream of being philanthropic and helping people as they're helping themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why people get up in the morning and go to work. We're no different. So we're building something here that is going to have so many tentacles off of it that some of which I aren't even aware of. But I do know one thing, is that when I will be doing my part, which is just bring someone to our call. It's a town hall meeting that's going to take place more than the conference call schedule that we currently have. We might even have it 3 times a week. But it will be a round-robin discussion, a radio daisy chain, and then the show will be called Get a Radio Show. The radio daisy chain, Get a Radio Show. And that's what it's going to be. Jimmy Church is doing it. That's where the epiphany came to me from, is that as I'm going over these things and as I go drifting off into left field, and many people have said this to me, one of the reasons that they come back all the time is they like to listen to me talk about this stuff, because it is a little unorthodox. There is no teleprompter going on over here, I can assure you that. But I find it interesting to listen to my dadgum self, because it's really not me, as you'll see. It's being, don't get scared, but it's being channeled, if you will, or I'm being inspired, and I truly believe that, or being guided, or whatever you want to call it, through this program here, and bring it to everyone. We have another call tomorrow night, our Sunday call. I would suggest that you bring some people over to the Get a Radio Show, and that's going to be held over on the conference line. What I want to move toward is I think it's going to be a while before we have 250 solid people on our calls. It will come, and I've seen it many times before. I used to have 3,000 or 4,000 on Ramblin' Randy's radio show. But it'll be a while. So I want to get to where we're sharing a live screen, and we may do that on Join Me or Zoom or one of those platforms. Freeconferencingcall.com has that ability. I may download the software and try it out on tomorrow's call. So if you're getting this message, you may want to try to enter the call via the link that you would see over here on Calls and News, and be on your monitor. And then if I see a lot of people, because I can tell, you just go to this link right here, and I'll show you how that goes. You click on this, and it's going to ask you to fill out some stuff, email address and name. If you'd put in your dadgum real name, not Popeye or the Green Lantern or whatever, Jedi, so that I'll know who's sitting there. And then give me a better understanding. But when I see a lot of people, if they do show up and they're on their monitors, then I will launch the screen share software, and we'll see how it works for free conferencing, how their platform works over compared to Join.me or one of the other a GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar kind of platforms. We shall see how that works. That's all I really have for today. We have all the radios out to that originally came in. That's a wonderful thing. Y'all let me know when they come in. We have people passing their FCC test right and left. So we're moving forward. We're doing good right now. There's going to be a whole lot more for us to explore and to learn way beyond just getting your license, because that's memorizing some questions and we have the answers to them. So we're not ready for primetime players out there in the ham world. I can assure you that. I do want to get one of the calls per week is going to be about just radio stuff, and we'll try to have some guests come on that can kind of throw water on the technical side and get down to just brass tacks and where the rubber meets the road discussion with us as we start out on our journey of becoming a proficient ham radio operator, whether it's active or inactive, but just to get to where you can drive fly the Piper Cub, not some fancy jet. And I don't know if y'all seen that or not yet, but the Chinese have got one. Good God, they've got one aircraft that they're coming out 5 times Mach. That's just what they're showing on paper. And we're sucking wind over here in the U.S. compared to what they're doing in China. The planet is getting leveled as far as equality of taking care of yourselves, themselves. And so things are changing. We know that. That's why it's time to get a radio. See how that bled right in there? That's what we're going to do as our show. Well, I'll be going nuts over here talking about these things, which are valid and validatable. And then in the middle of it is you can see why we come together, those of us with sound minds, and know it's time to get a radio. And so we'll guide them right over there during these introductory calls. And I think that will take a lot of the load off you people of trying to discuss it with your friends. We are coming up with a flyer. Corpus, George over in Corpus had mentioned to do that. And here is Frank right here. Frank, I'm doing a live call right now, a recording. And when you hear this recording being done, that I'll send out in a few minutes, you'll see me talk or hear me talking on the phone to you. Frank, good morning. You're now part of the live call that's just going to be in your inbox in just a minute, and I'm still broadcasting. So I'm going to finish up this video, and I will call you right back. All right, bye. That was Frank, and that's what's called entangling. Frank is the person that called me, said we need to look at a tier of council, if you will, that would be over the Eagles. Boy, I'm getting popular at this time of the morning. That's all that I've got. Let me get back with everyone. Be on the call tomorrow night. Bring a friend. We'll be exploring our new platform. Thank you.